What's up, guys? This is Chris from draftdashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Thursday, July 14th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have an 11-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. So now, this guy is the most expensive pitcher on the slate, but I just want to point him out. Take a look at Corbin Burnes. He's pitching against a low-salary batting team, the San Francisco Giants. Corbin Burnes pitching well to all hands, giving up a .562 OPS versus lefties, a .530 OPS versus righties, facing 5 lefties and 4 righties. And the Giants have only hit 11 of his last 50 pitches. That's a .220 batting average. He's $11,300 FanDuel salary, $700 less on DraftKings, averaging 43 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 55, 40, and 51 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He has an ERA of 2.20. Record is 7-4, pitching an average of 100 pitches per game. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. 6 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Corbin Burnes here versus the San Francisco Giants. The other pitcher that I like if you want to save some salary here is Triston McKenzie. He's pitching against the low-salary batting team, the Detroit Lions. Triston McKenzie only giving up a .336 OPS versus switch hitters, and he's facing 3 switch hitters here tonight. And the Tigers have only hit 7 of his last 47 pitches to 149 batting average. He's $9,300 FanDuel salary, and he's $1,000 less on DraftKings, averaging 31 fantasy points per game on the season. He's got an ERA of 3.47. Record is 6-6, pitching an average of 87 pitches per game. So I like Triston McKenzie here versus the Detroit Tigers. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I like Josh Bell with a 51% batting advantage over Kyle Wright. Josh Bell batting a .839 OPS versus righties. Kyle Wright pitching his worst ball by far to switch hitters. 51% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.551 OPS versus switch hitters. Josh Bell is 1 for 3 versus Wright. He's $3,300 FanDuel salary, $800 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. He has a batting average of .298. So I like Josh Bell here versus Kyle Wright. Now I also like Yandy Diaz with a 44% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Cutter Crawford. Yandy Diaz batting a .732 OPS versus righties. Cutter Crawford pitching his worst ball by far to righty batters. 59% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.405 OPS versus righties. Yandy Diaz is 1 for 2 versus Crawford. He's $3,200 FanDuel salary, $1,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. He has a batting average of .303. So I like Yandy Diaz here versus Cutter Crawford. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. we'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And then we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Christopher Morel with a 47% batting advantage over Carlos Carrasco. Christopher Morel batting 31% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .903 OPS versus righties. Carlos Carrasco, he's pitching 16% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .829 OPS versus righties. Christopher Morel is $3,300 FanDuel salary, $1,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. He has a batting average of .267, so I like Christopher Morel here versus Carlos Carrasco. Okay, who do we have at the third base position? Let's see here. I like Nolan Arenado. Let's see if I can get you a lower salary play here. I also like Luis Reyes, but let's go over Nolan Arenado. He's got a 26% batting advantage over Tyler Anderson. Nolan Arenado batting 10% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .927 OPS versus lefties. Tyler Anderson pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 16% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .724 OPS versus righties. Now, Nolan Arenado is 0 for 2 versus Anderson. He's $3,500 FanDuel salary, $1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He's been on fire the last 3 games, scoring 25, 10, and 12 fantasy points. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, and he has a batting average of .293. So I like Nolan Arenado here versus Tyler Anderson. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Jeremy Pena with an 18% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Reed Detmers. Jeremy Pena batting 15% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .855 OPS versus lefties. Reed Detmers, he's giving up a .753 OPS versus righties. Jeremy Pena is 1 for 2 versus Detmers. He's $3,400 FanDuel salary, $1,500 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .260, so I like Jeremy Pena here versus Reed Detmers.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the outfield position. The home run hitter I like is Juan Soto with a 30% batting advantage over Kyle Wright. Juan Soto batting 23% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .034 OPS versus righties. Kyle Wright giving up a .790 OPS versus lefties. Juan Soto is 2 for 7 versus Wright, but he's got a .357 OPS because one of those hits was a double and the other one was a home run. Juan Soto is $4,200 FanDuel salary, $1,800 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has been on fire, scoring 35, 12, 28, 28, and 13 fantasy points in the last 5 games, batting average of .245. So I like Juan Soto here versus Kyle Wright. Now, I also like Harold Ramirez with a 46% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Cutter Crawford. Harold Ramirez batting a .731 OPS versus righties. Cutter Crawford pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 59% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.405 OPS versus righties. Harold Ramirez is 0 for 2 versus Crawford. He's $3,200 FanDuel salary, only $300 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, and he has a batting average of .332. So I like Harold Ramirez here versus Cutter Crawford.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.